everyone, Sue here from 1A Auto, and today we have our 2013 Toyota Camry in the shop. It's got the 3.5 liter V6 in it, and I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the harmonic balancer. If you need that part or any other part for your car, click on the link below and head on over to 1AAuto.com. To remove the serpentine belt, you need a special tool or a really long wrench. On this case, it's a 14mm head on a tensioner bolt. So I've got the open end on our extended handle, and we sell this tool on 1A Auto site, and it comes with several other sockets and an extension for angles, and I can use it just with this one with the crow's foot. Slide it right on the bolt of the tensioner, and you're going to go counterclockwise. So I'm going to go back like this. Now you can see the belt has no tension on it. I'm just going to reach down and take the belt off. It does cause to be a little careful because heaven forbid the tool should slip and your fingers are down there. So once the belt is off, just take the tension off and take the tool so you don't have to worry about it. Take it off all the pulleys. The crank is probably going to be the hardest one to reach from up on top here. So now I have the belt off of every pulley except for the crank and the actual tensioner. And you can't get the tool out because the tension's all the way down and it's bottoming out on the top radiator rail. So what I do is I leave the belt on the crank, and I'm going to hold the belt. I'm going to pull this pulley up, and I'm going to hold onto the belt as fast as I can, as strong as I can, to take the tool off. And it came off the crank. So I took the belt, it's around the crank, around the pulley, and I brought it out back here under this wishbone mount motor support. So now I can take the tension right off and slowly let go of the belt. And then I just slide the belt out, off the crank, pull it right out. Access the harmonic balancer. We took the tire off. You might be able to turn it to the side if you don't want to take your tire off, but for us and for you, visual, we took the tire off, make it easier. Then you have this splash shield right here with two bolts holding it in. That's a little 10mm socket. I'm going to take that off. Now, Toyota usually has one more in there. It might be a clip. Let's see what we got. Yep, just a clip. And it's a nice little push pin, like most of Toyota's things are. And there we go. Take that cover right off. So now we can access the harmonic balancer, and the crank bolt is a 22mm socket. And if you don't have an air gun, like half-inch air gun, I don't know how else you would break that free, because a breaker bar with extension, you still have to hold that crank from turning. I guess you could use a strap wrench and then try to do it with a breaker bar with a 22mm socket. If not, maybe you could borrow it to a rental. It's not a difficult job. It's just the meaning of having access to an air gun. So I'm going to back the crank bolt off. Now on Toyotas, the nice thing is that you don't need to pulley or anything. You just grab it and slide it right off. And there's your front crank seal, and there's your harmonic balancer. So here we have the original harmonic balancer from our 2013 Camry, and here is the one we got from the 1A Auto site. They're both the same diameter, same amount of grooves. They both have the same mark, not that you need a timing mark because it is a chain. You can't really time it because of the year. It's direct ignition, but it comes balanced. The factory one had 2 drill bits milled out, and this has it. There's 4, and it has the rubber bushing in between, any threaded pulleys in case you needed to actually pull it off, and then it also comes with a new keyway, which is nice. That's not pretty often I see that when I buy a harmonic balancer. Nice milled section that goes into the actual crank for the front crank seal. So if you need this part or any other part for your car, click on the link below and head on over to 1AAuto.com. So here we have the crank, entrance to the crank, front crank seal, and here is the keyway that came. We got a new one with our new harmonic balancer. So I'm going to show you how to take that off with minimal damage. I always say that. So I'm going to use a magnet I don't want it to fall down inside there. And I'm going to see if I can get it without using a hammer. Sometimes they'll just wobble, come right out. Other times you're going to have to really work it. So I think I'm going to end up getting a little hammer and tapping this. I'm going to let the magnet stay on there. So hopefully if it starts to loosen up, we don't want that. There we go. It's starting to come out right now. And there's our half moon key. So here's our new one that just came with the harmonic balancer, and that's the one I just took off. You can see the milled, they're the same size. The reason why you want to change it is because this could have a little bit of play in it or wear, and you're not going to know unless you take it out, for one. And two, if it's not machined and milled precisely the way for this actual harmonic balancer, it could cause uneven wear or excessive new wear. If it comes with it, I say replace it. That's the old one. So we're going to tap this new one in. I'll show you how to do that. So I've got the new keyway. I'm going to line it right up, the half moon section into the crank itself. So basically I started it, pushed it in by hand. Now I'm going to take a hammer and I'm going to use the round part of my hammer, see if I can tap it in more. Now I'm going to see if I can use a little bit of a punch and see if I can get the back part of it in. As long as the front part is in, the harmonic balancer is going to seat it when it goes in there. So even if you leave it like that, line the keyway up, the new harmonic balancer is going to force it to seat in there. So it went on a quarter of the way, and now that keyway is up like this. So I'm going to try to use the harmonic balancer to seat the rest of it down. If you don't have a puller or harmonic balancer installer, you could use a piece of wood and a hammer, but you want to tap on that gently. So the force of a puller or installer is easier because it's best for it because it's just a smooth, slow push in. The jolting of the hammer, you have a timing gear behind here, and it's also a crank. As much as you think a crank is steel, it still should not be met with a blunt force. Now I'm going to install my harmonic balancer tool. This has a center insert. You match up the threads to the crank bolt. Install them. Install this flat pulley. Okay, so basically you turn this piece down in and hold the center shaft from turning, and it just gives it nice, even, slow, seats it right on there. Getting towards the end here. And the reason why you don't want to practice using the actual crank bolt is because you can do damage to the threads, you can do damage to the crank. So it's best to actually have the proper tool if you can. Yeah, and you can rent a lot of these tools now. Part stores, chains, national chains, they do a lot of rental, even if you don't buy the parts there. They're fine with it. So now you can see how that's seated. Nice and flush, it's in there. Take our centerpiece out. And then now we'll get the torque spec and see if we can torque that crank bolt. So I'm going to examine the crank bolt, make sure there's no cross threading. Looks good. Manufacturers, some say to and some don't, but some say to oil the threads. This one already has oil on it still, so I'm not going to overload it. I'm going to put it on by hand. And the torque specs is 184 foot-pounds. So I'm going to see if I can do that. So we're going to try the strap wrench that I talked about earlier, that if you have one, you can try the strap wrench to break it free if you don't have an air gun. So I'm going to try it to torque it. I've got my torque wrench set to 184. Let's see if it works. Oh, it looks like it's going to slide. So I tried the torque wrench. That's not working because I have no way of holding this. So we're going to go with the old-fashioned air gun. Just keep in mind it's 184 foot-pounds, which is not to reef on the air gun. So we're going to you can actually take a marking if you wanted to, just to give yourself a assurance mark. So I haven't used an air gun on this yet. So I'm going to mark, knowing that this bolt hole lined up there. Let's see if we turn it and see if we can give it just 1/8 of a turn. I think that would be sufficient. That would be the max I would go with that. Now we're going to install our SERP belt, aka drive belt, on a Camry. So I'm going to bring it down to the top here. And I'm going to show you a diagram of how the belt goes in case you don't have access to one, or if you didn't take a good picture, just make it easier for you. So it's going to loop down over the harmonic balancer, around the tensioner, and then come off the harmonic balancer. Sorry. So let's do that together. See if we can get both of them all down there together. So now that the SERP belt is put on, everything looks good. Check it, make sure it's all in line with the pulleys, not off one by one gear, you know, one line of tooth. Before I put the shield on and the fender well, I like to run the car because I want to run it, make sure it goes around several times, make sure it doesn't slide off, or I can't foresee something and it is off a rib. You don't want to have it all back together and you got to do it all over again. So we'll start her up and make sure it looks good. Now we've run our vehicle, I'm going to put the fender shield on. Remember that had that nose piece that went up in the front here? That's got that little plastic push pin. So first thing I'm going to do is put one of the top bolts on. And then I'll put my second bolt. And now I can look up through here, put my push pin in. Right. 10mm socket.
Thanks for watching. Visit oneauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.